I think that's right.
That 1 month's salary, so just 1 month of the 12, could buy Tom Pidcock 11,363,636 marshmallows. And he's not a big fella.
Welcome back to the Spin Cycle Podcast, everybody. I'm Kaylee Fretz. Today on the show, what is going on at Jayco? Matt White is the new trident master at Movistar, and the Del Toro Giro mystery has been partially solved. Let's get to it.
I'm also melting into the side of the screen today. I'm orange on orange.
Orange on orange. Welcome to the show, Johnny. How are you?
Hello.
And Dane
I'm
Cash.
back.
Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Yeah, you're back from you said you're jet lagged this morning, Johnny.
Yeah, I'm now, you two with your children. There's nothing like a 14-hour flight back from the other side of the world,
I mean, jet lag is pretty bad. I'll give you that.
It's just like, don't know what's
Especially if
going
you're going
on.
that far.
Yeah.
But what I found is I become very placid, though, when I'm like that tired.
other
Which
thing-
is a nice change for the people who have to interact with me.
The other thing that makes it tough for you, Johnny, is that jet lag won't take care of you later in your life. But my kid will.
Well, you hope
Take care
so.
of me, not you. I mean, maybe she'll take care of you too. I don't know. But
Yeah.
Take care of Uncle Johnny.
yeah.
Gentlemen, let's get to it. We have a packed show today. And in fact, we're actually waiting potentially for news related to this first topic. So the question that we've got is what is going on at Jayco? And we happen to know that within about 45 minutes of us recording this show, there's going to be a Zoom call that may answer this question. So we will potentially be dropping in a little extra once we do get the answer to that question. But for now, let's just let's maybe take a brief step back to a bit of reporting that we put on the site earlier this week. In fact, this also happened right after we recorded the Monday show. Jayco missed the first UCI deadline, basically to be part of the World Tour for next year. And our reporting, not suggested, basically confirmed that the issue around that was a bank guarantee that needed to come from Jerry Ryan. One of you want to give me a brief background on Jerry Ryan? Who are we talking about here? Dane?
The guy who bankrolls this team. This is the guy who kind of bankrolls or has bankrolled, I don't know, numerous Aussie cycling projects for
All
quite a
of
long
Australian
time.
cycling.
Yeah, and this particular team, it's funny, it's gone through many different naming iterations, but most of them are companies that Jerry Ryan owns. So it's in some way a project to promote, whether it's a winery he owns or
Caravans?
a RV brand that at least in Australia, I think he owns.
Jayco is the the primary moneymaker and has often been on there. Did you know? So the three of us formerly worked at Cycling Tips. Jerry Ryan owned a company called Bike Exchange,
There's that,
which owned Cycling Tips.
Wow.
I believe that briefly Cycling Tips was on the World Tour kit. I
Really?
think.
Yes, I
So
have
technically,
vague-
the three of us have sponsored a professional cycling.
How about
team
that?
previously?
I don't think I was in the
Yeah, that might have been
universe.
before Johnny's
Yeah.
Might have been before
time.
Johnny's time. Yeah.
That was
Anyway,
fun, though.
so Jerry Ryan. And the big question here is, this is a man who wouldn't struggle to put together a bank guarantee. Let's put it that way, right? Like it was worth plenty of money.
Nice thing to say about someone.
Yeah. We think the bank guarantee was somewhere in the neighborhood, according to our sources, of 3 to 4 million euros or francs, maybe. I don't know. They're roughly equivalent these days, anyway. Which is sort of apparently 25% of the wage bill. That seems low to me, actually. The full wage bill at Jayco is very likely, in fact, almost guaranteed to be more than that's like 16 million or so. But even so, it's a sort of single-digit millions of francs number, and the UCI did not receive it.
Jerry Ryan, according to Wikipedia, I'm looking at, they're citing a Australian Financial Review rich list.
Cool.
Back in 2023, he was cited at something nearing 700 million
Whoa.
net worth. So, he's not quite
He's not a billionaire.
he's not Bezos, but he can
Slacker.
afford. He can afford a bank guarantee. You think?
I mean, yeah, this is it's a slightly concerning story because, yeah, your lottos, well, previously Lotto, Destiny, and all the other lotto iterations, you could kind of see the writing on the wall coming with a very slow sort of breaking before falling, into a ditch at the end of the road. And Intermarché 1-2 as well have always kind of been floating around towards the bottom of the pyramid. So those two teams having to sort of merge to survive, and you have Archaea, B&B Hotels falling apart. Kind of makes sense, right? It's sad, but not necessarily surprising. But the fact that an established team, Jayco-AlUla, especially because they kind of look the part with their kit now, they have like big time riders, making moves like Ben O'Connor last off season, housing Michael Matthews, haven't had the Yates twins for a while. If they folded, I mean, maybe we shouldn't talk too much of the ifs because we're probably going to know before this goes out. But it would be shocking, right?
Yeah.
Shocking, but they have been not.
Yeah, that
good.
is true.
Like they.
Well, I was going to say that, but we've heard
they're
like
in
some
the-
whisperings about them, and you don't go to AlUla unless you really need it, kind of.
Well,
Yeah.
there's that too. Yeah.
So,
But
a little
they
bit of
just haven't been
background
good.
here. Well, Dane, to your point, yes, they have not been
Yeah,
particularly good.
you're right, Dan.
But I also, yes, that matters for sure, but it also kind of doesn't, because the funding of this team is sort of, it's not completely unique in cycling, but it's actually kind of the best of the
Yeah.
bad options for
Yeah.
the funding of a cycling team, right? You've got the sort of like truly benevolent rich guy, and I think that's what a lot of teams would really hope for, right? And it's why this team, it's been around for well over a decade now, almost two. You've got an individual in Jerry Ryan who is sort of pretty universally loved within the Australian cycling community and respected within the Australian cycling community. And I think that's one reason why, we're sitting here kind of waiting for this Zoom call to happen that could say, oh, the team's going to be fine, or it could be the team is over. We don't know yet. We will drop something in at the end, as I said. It would really surprise me if Jerry Ryan just sort of fully backed away from the team over a couple $1 million at this point in time, because I don't think that's what he wants his legacy to be. I could be totally wrong, but I think that's what he doesn't want his legacy to be a bunch of riders left out of contracts when the market is already incredibly difficult for riders right now, given the Lotto and Intermarché stuff. I don't think that's what he wants his legacy to be. Now, we have heard over the last couple years that his sort of patience for funding this team is slowly decreasing. And you can see that in the fact that they went to the Saudis to find cash, right? Bringing on AlUla is an indicator that he didn't want to fund this team in its entirety by himself into perpetuity. Right. Now, the other piece of that is that teams have gotten more and more expensive to run, right? So to keep up with the big dogs, you don't need 20 or 25 million anymore. You need 50 or 60, right? And so that was the other reason for the addition of the AlUla sponsorship. But that is, I think it's safe to say, an indicator of Jerry Ryan's general mindset around all of this, which is, he's wanted to stay involved. He's not pulling the rug out from under the team, as far as we know right now. But pulling in additional funds is relevant to where he's at. We do expect that he at some point is not going to want to fund this team anymore. We don't know when is going to happen. But that is sort of the expectation among folks that we've talked to that know Jerry, that know, the Australian cycling scene. There is an expectation that this team will at some point lose its benevolent millionaire, right? Again,
Fair enough.
we don't know if that's fair enough. Everything comes to an end at some point. Like, again, I don't know if that's this year or 10 years from now. Zero clue. But there are indications that Jerry Ryan is slightly less interested in funding this team in its entirety than he was 10 years ago. I think that's safe to say. Now, the other sort of, I guess, angle on this is the Matt White stuff, right? And this gets to what you're talking about, Dane, which is that the team actually just hasn't been very good over the last couple of years. Both the men's and women's teams have not been very good over the last couple of years. And that seems to be related to this dust-up right ahead of this year's Giro. I believe it was actually on the eve of the Giro or like 2 days before the Giro or something, where longtime sport director and kind of head of their sports operations, Matt White, a.k.a. Whitey, because the Australians cannot call anybody by their actual name.
You can't.
It's actually
exactly.
impossible. Yeah. So Whitey was removed unceremoniously from his position at the team just ahead of this year's Giro. He spoke to Chris Marshall-Bell yesterday about that. He spoke to Chris and he spoke to Dan Benson. It's the first time he's really talked about it since that time. And the reason he was doing that for the first time is because he's got a new gig. He's headed to Movistar. Let's shelve that for just a moment and talk a little bit more about him leaving. This is a complicated story. Talk about him leaving the team last spring. So the man that runs Jayco-AlUla right now is Brent Copeland. And I think that if you read between the lines in the interview that Chris did with Whitey yesterday, it's pretty clear that relationship broke down significantly. Matt White goes out of his way to say that, he still has sort of love and respect for Jerry Ryan, and then just says absolutely nothing about Brent. So you've got all this kind of bubbling under the surface, right? You've got kind of general discontent within the team. We know that there were a number of people on the team who were not happy about the way that Matt White was treated throughout all of this. I've received text messages from riders on the team in the last week. So has Chris Marshall-Bell, asking us what on earth is happening, particularly after we wrote the story about the missing bank guarantee. We had riders signing up to Escape Collective so they could read the story. We had riders texting us to find out what was going on. So I think that the internal communication over there has not been...
That's bad vibes.
It's bad vibes. Has not been great. And again, we are then expecting maybe that communication to happen 27 minutes from now and find out what's going on. So where does this leave us? What do we feel about this sort of state of Jayco? We've got a booted, long-time beloved sport director. We've got a missing bank guarantee. We've got riders not really knowing what's going on. The vibes are not great, right?
Well, for one thing, it leaves us with a good advertisement for like independent journalism. So if you're listening and you're not a member, go sign up to support this sort of thing. Just a quick thought.
Just like the rest of the Jayco-AlUla team, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think only like a couple of them signed up, and then they just used the GIF links.
Right.
So they're fine.
I saw a story from one of the soon-to-be out-of-a-job Intermarché riders also saying he found out a bunch about his team's various issues through the media, and he literally thanked the journalists. And I'm like, oh,
thank you.
I mean, not that I was
for
involved in
everything.
this, but yeah. Anyway, Jayco.
It makes more sense now when we were talking on the podcast last week, how I was slightly disappointed that the Jayco-AlUla riders didn't hang around in Guangxi to celebrate Paul Double's GC win. Because they're probably there, like, stuff sort of going on behind the scenes and whatnot. Kind of makes a bit more sense now, where it's just like, you know what? I don't need to celebrate this team. They're maybe about to do me out of a job, or rumblings going on. Makes a bit more sense. It's, I mean, Matt White kind of wins out of this, I guess. He's like avoided maybe, a situation that's definitely not good, regardless if they carry on. It's definitely shaky ground. Goes to the new and improved Movistar with Keanu Brook. Movistar have also signed some weird sponsorship deal with a Singaporean shipping company where they have like riders pointing at like cardboard cutouts of ships and standing in skyscrapers. So Movistar, they're all the way back. I don't think I dreamed this up. I just need to find the actual. I'll put it in Discord or whatever. But yeah, I mean. You've also got Sebastian Unzue. Basically taken over kind of from his dad.
Just stop you briefly right there. So if we're going to pivot over to Movistar, which is the two things are connected now by this Matt White move, right?
The connection we never knew we needed between the two teams. Yeah.
So the other bit of news that popped up this week was, and this is very slightly annoying to me. Little bit of small how the sausage is made backstory. we knew that Matt White was going to Movistar, and we held that information because Matt White was like, we want to wait for the actual announcement, and if we wait for the actual announcement, we'll give you guys an interview. And we're like, yeah, sure, that's a fine trade. This is not a massive news story. We need to break immediately, kind of thing. I then woke up yesterday and we had literally just talked to Matt White, and then Movistar just put out their statement.
Pulled a fast one.
5 days before they were supposed to, which was slightly irritating.
That's just
anyway.
Movistar.
It's very Movistar. But the statement was that there's a significant reshuffling going on at that team. So Sebio Unzue is the founder of that team. He's run it for 34 years or something like that.
Wow.
Long time. His son Sebastian has been in charge of the women's program for 6-7 years now, maybe a little bit less than that, but anyway, a while. And he is now being moved into a completely new role that oversees all of the sport operations at the men's Movistar team. I would assume that means that the sort of commercial operations are probably still being managed by his dad. His dad is 70, and this is definitely a succession plan thing going on. I would assume that Sebastian is intending to probably take over the entire team sometime in the next half decade or so. But he's now at the top of a completely revamped sport operation with 4 departments, one of which is being run by Matt White, along with who's his co-leader there?
Chente Garcia.
Chente Garcia, of course.
Jose Vicente.
Yes. So that's one segment. They have a whole division called Riders, which is just intended whoever's running that one.
Class president.
Is there a rider who gets to be the?
I don't think it's a rider. I think they have it's almost like they're a little mini CPA inside the team that sort of advocates for riders and their whatever they need.
Kenneth Brooks is class president. That'd be cool.
Anyway, this is a long-winded way of me saying that team is undergoing at the moment some pretty significant structural changes, and I've heard good things in general about Sebastian. I think he's done a pretty decent job with the women's team. He was the one that really pushed for the internationalization of that team and bringing in Annemiek van Vleuten and things like that. And so I think that is why we're also seeing Keanu Brooks showing up at this team, and so the Matt White, not a Spanish guy, famously not Spanish. Having a non-Spanish dude in the director's car of Movistar, not a frequent occurrence over the last 3 decades.
Yeah.
Dane, what's look in Spanish? 'Cause you
Mira.
have to learn that. It's every question you ask him, it will start with mira.
And it's funny because people actually do that already. That's a frequent thing.
Really?
People, mira. Yeah.
Do we think while we've had an overhaul of the sporting side of Movistar, you mentioned the business and financial side of it, Kaylee.
Yeah.
Do we sense a departure from the alleged heavy ties with the Opus Dei organization, or do we think that's still going to be bankrolling our favorite Spanish team?
I think that why would you want to change that though? You got to leave the things that are working. You got to leave in place, right? I don't think there's any reason to get rid of that one.
Johnny, it's real. You didn't just stream it up.
Here's Movistar tweets: an unforgettable visit to our partner, Eastern Pacific Shipping. 346 followers on Twitter. Definitely not some sort of front. Thanks for the warm welcome and all the amazing experiences you prepared for us. We loved every moment. So here we go. They're in a high-rise hotel. There is a Movistar rider pointing at a big ship. And then there's some sort of, they're posing in front of lots of things. They're having a great time. So there we go.
That's Sebastian.
That's Sebastian there. He's having look at him, drinking wine, hanging out at Eastern Pacific Shipping Company. He's living the absolute life.
We could maybe this is an after dark thing, but the last time I saw Sebastian was in the duplex.
Oh, wow. Let's save that for after dark.
Let's save that for after dark.
But yes, unfortunately, in the crazy world we live in, who would have predicted that the end of 2025, Jayco-AlUla in their best kit in the peloton are now on the precipice, and the previously dysfunctional Movistar, things haven't been this bright since the trident, since the height of the trident era.
2013, yeah.
But yeah,
What's
wild.
their new trident? Who's their? Is it Quintana, Uitebrooks, and who? Because they
Enric
need
Mas?
3.
And
Enric
then
Mas
Mas.
Erasure?
Gotta be Enric
Oh,
Mas,
yeah.
yeah.
Come on.
Oh,
Jeez.
what a trident! What
Yeah.
a trident!
That's a trident for sure.
I'm just trying to search them up on the.
Javier
They
Romo's
need-
pretty
They
good.
need to chuck all 3 into the Tour de France and just go for it. That's
yeah,
what I
they
want.
do. I hope
That's what I
that
want.
Fernando. I don't think Fernando Gaviria is going to be riding for them next year, which is a shame.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think they've
'Cause
announced.
he could.
yeah.
He could be the impish third piece of the trident, where he's just like mopping up. I don't know. 2-point pro races or something. I don't know. 1-point pro.
So how do we kind of sum all this up? We've got
Chaos.
what chaos?
theory.
We've got some mild chaos. Oh no, but you're right, Johnny. That Movistar actually there's no chaos here. I think it's a great
Yeah.
great pickup. Matt
Yeah.
White is very much loved within the sport. Like he's one of those. I'm sure there's people out there that don't like Matt White. I've never met them. He seems to be like he's pretty
What a
he's
sentence.
right. You can't
Yeah.
say that about many people in pro cycling,
No, that's
right?
true.
You can't say it about me.
I feel like
Absolutely.
He's, I feel like he's I feel like he's going to adapt to the Spanish way of life well. I feel like it will suit him. He's already kind of got the look going on. Like he's often in like a button-up shirt and jeans, but with
Doesn't he
like,
already
a couple
live
of
there?
buttons undone. Probably.
I
But,
think he
you know,
lives
there's,
there-
There's a difference of living in Spain as like Jayco-AlUla's, because that's like very Girona coded. Whereas
Yeah.
now he's with Movistar, they'll tell him where like the good bits to live in Spain are, and he can move there, and they'll like let him in. And Opus Day will set him up with some big gaff. Or
I
you
think
know.
I think both of his both of his kids race, and so when after he was let go at Jayco, he actually spent the summer and a couple days behind like the director's seat at his kids' races, like his teenagers' races in Spain, which is super cool. Like that's what a great way to spend his summer. He mentioned this in Chris's story. He's like, great way to spend my summer. He's been on the road for 15 years, basically, right? And so he got to spend a summer with his kids, watching them race bikes. Like, actually, I think of this entire thing, Matt White wins.
It's all coming up, Matt White.
Yeah,
There's a story on the Tour of Hellas website. That's a small Greek bike race.
That's what Fernando Gaviria could win a stage over if he sticks around next year.
They interviewed Matt White this year. Don't know why. Don't know why they took the time to do this on the Tour of Hellas website, but there's a little sort of like a Q&A here posted in which he notes that he does live in Spain. Also that one of his daughters is the national champion in the under 14 category in walking,
Wow.
which is cool.
speed walking, presumably, not just like
One assumes.
walking.
One assumes it's for speed and not style
Wow.
that you win this. But anyway,
Find
yeah.
a more obscure sport than road cycling.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. But it's one that everybody does, so.
Yeah, big pool of potential, competitors.
Exactly. I'm sure you're
Biggest,
getting a lot of
actually.
marketing talk about that, how it's the new golf because actually it's got a lot of people who do it.
Good stuff.
that's a superb pickup, Dane.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate you
Yeah.
digging that one out.
Yeah.
All right, I think here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna throw to whatever happened in today's Zoom call.
Good plan.
Should we do 2 versions? Let's do 2 versions. We can leave all of this in the show, but
Okay.
well, terrible news. Jayco-AlUla has shut
End
down.
of an era.
End of an era. Let's
Our
discuss.
thoughts with everyone affected by this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now another one. Wow, great news.
Pop the champagne.
Pop the champagne.
They've managed to
Jayco-AlUla.
find. They've gone for instead of Alula sponsoring as a title partner, they've got Guantanamo Bay in, and it's going to be just fantastic. Really rebuild the image of that place.
UNESCO World
And-
Heritage Site, Guantanamo
and yeah.
Bay.
Yeah.
No, but genuinely, I'm going to throw to a little break right here. We're going to be right back with update from the Jayco Zoom call. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Through the magic of editing, we're now going to bring you news from the future.
We know what happened now.
We know what happened now. And joining us for this short segment, Chris Marshall-Bell. Chris, welcome back to the show.
Hello, thank you. It's been a while, actually.
It has
Mm.
been a while. Good to see you again.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 stories to kind of get through real quick here, I think. So first of all, the one that we teased, this Jayco story. So we had mentioned previously in the show that there was a Zoom call happening with the team basically as we were recording. Chris, you have some insight into what was said on that Zoom call. It's good news, right?
It is good news. So there was a Zoom call on Thursday afternoon, European time, with Brent Copeland, who's the team's general manager. He's actually in Saudi Arabia right now, in AlUla, speaking with the sponsors, AlUla, and there was also a Jayco camp happening in the next few days as well. But he obviously flew out there early, I would assume, to try and help the situation. But that
shake them a bit and see if their pockets jangled.
Shake a shake. And well, yes, the meeting was positive. Brent Copeland did apologise to the riders because he was aware that the last 10 days has been quite distressing. When we broke the news on Monday as well, it turned out that most riders, well, all riders, hadn't been aware that Jerry Ryan had not provided the bank guarantee. In fact, a number of riders actually contacted us asking for more details. But the news that Brent Copeland gave them was that the bank guarantee would be arriving. We don't know if it has already arrived, but it would be arriving. And one rider who was on the call told me that there was no doubt that there was confidence and optimism and that the team would continue in 2026, both the men's and the women's team.
Which is great news. I'm assuming that they did not indicate anything more long-term in terms of, Jerry's future involvement in the team and beyond 2026, anything like that. It just, they left it at this year's going to happen and we're okay.
As far as I know, yeah. I don't know any more details beyond that. There has been some information, some speculation that Jayco was speaking with Giant and AlUla and trying to, as we've just said, trying to shake a little bit of more money from them.
Yep.
I wonder if Jerry Ryan not providing the bank guarantee on time, I wonder if that was a negotiation tactic from him to try and get more money from other sponsors. That's just me speculating. I don't know. But looking forwards, I do think that this puts Jayco in a really difficult spot next year, because when it comes to speaking with riders for 2027, which will only actually start happening in 5 months. It's October. Well, it's November in 2 days, but they start speaking now to riders in March and April. The first thing a rider is going to say is, well, is the team safe? Will you still be around in 2027? So it does put the team in quite a sticky spot.
Yeah. Well, I've just looked in the 2027 Jayco-AlUla's squad of riders. There's 9 riders who've got contracts with the team then, and Luke Plapp is kind of the guy who they've got, who you'd write home about, who's under contract for them. So yeah, that's going to be an issue. And I've heard this at least with riders when they've been offered big money contracts from teams, but teams that are on slightly shaky ground or untrustworthy ground with regards to their future. And riders will often be well, I just can't trust that what you're offering me is going to extend past 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
So while this is good news, I think you're definitely right, Chris, in that the future's still very uncertain.
100%.
I think what this needs, and I don't know if this is going to be provided, but it needs some guarantee of where Jerry sees his investment in the coming years. He's 75 now. I don't think anyone would blame him if he says, actually, it's time to pull my money and keep it for my sons and my grandsons and my daughters and granddaughters. But maybe he wants to keep on funding the team. The issue here isn't that Jerry doesn't enjoy cycling anymore. The issue essentially comes down to budgets are getting bigger and bigger and bigger every single year. And Jerry Ryan, whether he's put, as an estimate, I guess maybe about 20-25 million a year in, he doesn't want to put in any more than that. But if a team budget needs to be 35 million, where are you going to get this extra 15 million? Yeah. So that's the issue.
Well, that's why they brought AlUla on in 2023, right? That was the big reason. I think Jerry's cash input remained the same through that. We talked a little bit about this elsewhere on the show when we weren't exactly sure what was going to happen, but Jerry's portion remained the same, but they needed some on top to continue to compete. And even then, they've really struggled, right? I mean, we talked about how they've had a rough couple of years. Let's pivot over to Lezcano. So I guess a little bit of background here is that, Chris, you had heard something this week about him, and then I, from an entirely different source, heard something about him. Neither of them actually ended up being correct, I don't think. Sort of. But the fact that this is discussion of Lezcano was sort of circulating among cycling people, insider cycling people in the last week, I think was indicative and maybe related to the fact that we got news today that he was provisionally suspended for biopassport abnormalities. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. And those abnormalities relate to the 2022, 2023, and 2024 when he was at Movistar, not when he was at Red Bull.
Right.
So we don't have any details of when he was pulled by the ITA, the International Testing Agency, but you would assume it was a few weeks after Roubaix because that was his last race, so mid-April.
Yeah.
How these processes work is that when he would have been pulled, he would have been entitled to defend himself, to appeal, and there was no reason for this to be made public. Again, we don't have any specific information, but from going on past cases, it's fair to assume that Lezcano's immediate defence hasn't passed with the ITA, and now a fuller investigation will continue. I've also been told from a source within the UCI as well that Lezcano has been of interest to them for the past year or two. So within the UCI, this is not a huge surprise. He has been targeted.
There was immediately that video clip of him attacking Roglic at the Dauphiné uphill. I think in 2024 was resurfacing, being like, yeah, should we remember our large mountain goat from the Dauphiné? And then Daniel Friebe actually tweeted out saying that there's been an increase in recent years of like Intel-led testing. And so that a performance such as that, where you have large man almost dropping one of the best GC climbers of, the past however many years, that would then inspire maybe some connecting of dots and being like, you know what, we have to test like a certain number of riders. Why don't we test this guy?
Yeah. Well, and even beyond like a result like that, that's what the biopassport has been mostly used for, and it's actually quite unusual to have a biopassport like doping case. That hasn't happened very often because the standard is exceptionally high, and essentially the entire system is designed. You are drawing a line between 2 points that you can't actually confirm, right? Because that's the whole point, is that you're saying that these numbers don't really add up. That's the biopassport summed up as quickly as possible. So more often than not, they've been using it to target other testing because they're saying these numbers are abnormal enough that we are suspicious, and so we're going to chuck anti-doping testers at you all the time, but they're not abnormal enough for us to say with any certainty that this is definitely what you're doing. And so that's why a biopassport abnormality leading to a provisional suspension is a pretty big deal, because the standard of evidence there is really, really, really high, basically.
Also, Bears mentioned that I think in the first part of this show we were talking about how everything's coming up Movistar and singing Movistar's praises off the back of the
picking up Matt
trip
White
to Singapore, Matt White, Ken Utterbrook, but then we've had this. Not saying that Movistar's involved in all we have information, but within 1 week we've had this Lezcano stuff during his time at Movistar, and then we also had
Vinicius.
Not
Vinicius,
that one.
The other one.
No, the other one. The one not getting it in the neck from various Spanish football fans at every available opportunity. The Brazilian rider who you likely maybe know based on not being many Brazilian riders who've been in the World Tour recently. He was suspended for 20 months due to 3 failed whereabouts tests, or not given his whereabouts. The timing has not been given of when this was, but he's now suspended for a while. And he was most recently on Movistar, I think, for a few years from like 2022 to 2024.
There are questions to ask of Movistar. In fact, I've just sent a message to their general manager asking for.
Oh, I'm sure he'll be delighted to receive that.
Because you do have Lezcano, Vinicius as well, and then they've got a number of ex-Caja riders, and it was only in 2023 there was a big report by the Spanish newspaper Marca into medical practices, let's call them, at Caja, and then there was an investigation by Spanish police as well. They were mostly cleared of those accusations, but I don't think it's controversial to say that there still is a slightly blasé attitude towards doping Spanish sport. And Movistar, just by association of riders they currently have and have had, do have questions to answer. It's also worth pointing out that they also have Nairo Quintana, who had a ban for tramadol. They also have Michael Hesman, who served a ban whilst at Visma Lease Bike. I believe he was actually then cleared. I can't recall how that ended. But there are a number of riders at Movistar at the moment, or ex-riders, who don't have a squeaky clean image.
It is pro cycling.
Well, yeah.
All right.
It's a different sport, guys. It's a different era.
It is.
You know, at least Luke Rowe's not in the peloton. Oh, we haven't got to him in the show yet. We've done this the wrong way around. Luke Rowe's come out and said that he used to take delight in flecking dopers who'd returned to the peloton.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in about 15 minutes. In the
show. Sorry, I messed that up. I messed up the continuity.
All right, let's leave it there. We will obviously be keeping an eye on both of these stories. We've got more coming for you. I think, Chris, you've got a little sort of explainer around the biopassport and how that's come together and how Lezcano's case in particular has come together. That'll be on Escape Collective in the next couple days, I hope. Yeah, let's take a quick break. When we come back to the regular show. I can't remember what we're talking about next, but we'll be back to talk about it. Welcome back, everybody. We're gonna pivot. We're gonna pivot to the islands and the island people, Johnny's Island people. Bradley Wiggins has a new book. We haven't talked about this yet because Bradley Wiggins is difficult to talk about these days. Because I have simultaneously a desire to point out that Bradley Wiggins, he's written a lot of these books, and it feels like a money grab. And every single one, we've got sort of like hints at darkness in the underpinning sky.
Here's a clip of Killian Kelly.
Killian Kelly's Twitter's been great.
Who I think he purchases all these bicycle people books when a lot of them are not really worth your time. I'm speaking as a man who has read Peter Sagan's quote-unquote autobiography in a moment of, I don't know.
For those not watching on YouTube, describe what we're seeing here.
We're seeing Killian Kelly in a tweeted video chucking Bradley Wiggins the chain onto other tomes from one of my country's greatest ever cyclists, on top of Bradley Wiggins My Time, Bradley Wiggins My Hour, Bradley Wiggins on Tour, 21 Days to Glory, Icons Bradley Wiggins, and then another Bradley Wiggins in Garmin kit though.
Yeah.
And the tweet reads, this time, the actual truth will finally be revealed. What Killian Kelly's referring to there is that once again in the latest book, and also in like interviews with the Times he's done with his PR team have been an absolute blitz. Congrats to them. They've earned every single penny they've made. Bradley Wiggins reiterated that there was a lot of dark stuff going on around Jiffy Bag Gate, and that he was thrown under the bus.
But with no detail.
No, which probably is, I imagine when he was, doing the book and whoever he was ghostwriting, I think I did know that, but it's gone out of my head, which is why often people tell me things. I imagine Bradley Wiggins would have just said it, and then it would have had to be edited out by many expensive lawyers. But more interestingly, this came from, I'm not sure if this was in the book or former Daily Mail reporter Nick Harris, who has followed the Sky story closely and knows a lot about it, who interestingly said on his Substack, which is called Sporting Intelligence, that basically the, how do you call it, the hive mind, the senior and influential figures at British Cycling and Team Sky, characters such as Dave Brailsford, Shane Sutton, psychiatrist Steve Peters, Dr. Richard Freeman, remember him? Allegedly, they have closed ranks over the years to ensure that a lot of stuff doesn't really come out. But then in recent years, and as recently as the past few weeks, factions within this group have been threatened to go public and let the truth come out. So everyone's talking about the truth coming out without the truth coming out. But so far, these factions or people within it have relented because of the mutually assured destruction.
Right.
This is all allegations from either Bradley Wiggins' book or Nick Harris's Substack. He's reporting on it for a long time. Not sure how true any of it is, but certainly there's a lot of people who think there is a truth that we're not getting.
Right.
Which we also were interested in at the tour earlier this year, and we did not get. So at some point, a different version of the current truth we will hopefully hear.
The reason it's particularly difficult for, I think, to talk about this is that Wiggins has also talked a fair amount about an extraordinarily difficult childhood. Like the on the humanity side, you're sort of like, well, great, get your bag, Wiggo. Like, I hope you figure it out. I hope you make a bunch of money off this book. I hope that the teases of this book and the dopings, the things that you're teasing around the Jiffy Bag, etc. I hope it makes you lots of money, and I hope you get back on your feet because you're a human being and you deserve it.
I can tell. I can tell you what's in it. Maybe.
While at the same time, it being just extremely frustrating that there is basically, if you believe folks like Nick Harris and Sporting Intelligence, if you believe Wiggins in his own book, there's a bit of an omerta around all of this still, right? Where they've just decided not to tell the whole truth, whatever that may be. And that is still extraordinarily. I mean, we are more than a decade past this now, right? Like for reference, it took well under a decade for Lance Armstrong to fall post his last Tour de France victory, right? That happened faster than the Sky stuff. So we've just been sitting here with a small group of individuals, as you say, Johnny, or I guess more accurately, as Nick Harris said, this like concept of mutually assured destruction, keeping everybody quiet. Again, like we just don't know. I mean, that could be total nonsense too. That could be total nonsense.
Well, and because it obviously throws into question everything Team Sky have ever done. But in the book, Bradley Wiggins reiterates that throughout his career he rode on bread and water, which is a kind of colloquial way to say that he never doped.
Yeah.
And it's stronger than saying he never
TUEs.
tested positive. He had TUEs, yeah. Oh, who hasn't had a TUE?
Who doesn't have asthma, guys?
I'm just saying that even with a TUE, that's not bread and water.
Yeah.
There was also there was an interview. Bradley Wiggins in the book thanks Lance Armstrong for his support and the acknowledgements, which that's a whole other.
Well, we talked about that before. Yeah,
before.
Lance knows a PR opportunity when he sees one.
Oh yeah, and there was also a heartfelt, also slightly awkward interview on, I can't remember which BBC radio channel it was. It was one of them. Maybe it was Radio 4.
Radio 4.
Was it Radio 4?
Yeah.
With Dermot O'Leary, who's an odd person to be doing this interview, kind of. He's like, I don't know who the American equivalent of him is. But it was with Bradley Wiggins and Mark Cavendish. And Bradley Wiggins sort of saying like, Mark was there for me in my tough times and whatever. And then you have Mark Cavendish trying to sort of... as I struggle to say my thoughts, he was also struggling to say, like, bring the thoughts from his brain out through his mouth. But nice to know that Mark Cavendish is still knocking around, because we hadn't heard from him in a while.
Yeah,
but I have no doubt that he was a good friend to Bradley Wiggins. But yeah, just I'd missed that the awkward Cav.
Quick corrections corner. He must have done two different interviews because he did Radio 4 with O'Leary's Radio 2. So
as well, yeah. I mean, Wiggins' PR team is absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that's two different
cylinders.
BBC iterations right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that what's that website where you can like bet on anything now?
Polymarket, is it? Polymarket.
I think that's one of them. Kalshi or something. Anyway,
maybe.
I'm not a betting person, which is why I don't know. But if I was, I would want, is Mark Cavendish going to be on TV during the Tour de France next year? And I would say absolutely yes. That is when we're going to see him return. He will 100% chance be on something, Eurosport.
Him and Robbie McEwen try not to kill each other.
Yeah, exactly.
I might actually watch that.
So there's not a whole lot to be taken from this at the moment.
Well,
Other than there's just sort of things there's more. It's just more stuff floating around about this. Just more stuff
there
floating
is
around, and no solid
yes.
anything.
You say that, Kaylee,
Yeah,
but
you got something solid for me?
I've got something solid for you.
Ooh la la.
Meanwhile, over on the Chapeau cast, starring Luke Rowe and Geraint Thomas,
They really should rename it to that.
they should call it that. They should call it that. He has said on a recent episode that he used to make life hell, in quotes, for ex-dopers returning to the peloton, and saying that he was, tried to bully them out of the sport back to where they belong.
Luke Rowe or Geraint Thomas?
Luke Rowe did. Because Luke Rowe was he was the...
He's got enforcer vibes.
Yeah, he does. Now he uses it to go around and collect rent from all of his the flats he rents out in the Cardiff tri-state area. Unconfirmed, it's just allegations. But he keeps
Allegedly.
avoiding me for the interview about it.
Yep.
But yeah, he
Johnny's white
says how
whale.
he used to he used to flick people who tested positive and come back to the sport, and saying that it's sort of black and white in his mind, which is an interesting one.
You know what I
Because
saw?
he's going to have to eat a lot of humble chapeau pie if certain things do
in
come out here.
in like the
Yeah.
4 or 5 month period in which Chris Froome was a doper, because then he wasn't again, because it was okay that he used salbutamol. Was
Right.
Luke Rowe not working for him? But then it was like okay again. So now they're all friends.
Well, and Rosman, well, admittedly, Luke Rowe wasn't on safari with Rosman and getting
Yeah.
Rosman's child named after him.
And maybe he doesn't like yogurt.
I would have Luke Rowe down as a big anti-yogurt guy. I don't know what it is.
The reference there, of course, being that
the Milram stuff.
The Milram stuff. For those who don't
Yes,
remember.
but just a nice little
Quote,
cherry on top of this,
Milram
this
stuff.
week of
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's just I kind of
This-
want to say foie.
Foie.
It's just all
Foie.
everything's going
Foie.
crazy. I mean, they just won't let Jayco-Movistar have the headline for 1 week. It's
There's
just all going
there's two
weird.
ways to look at this, right? One is where there's smoke, there's fire. Right? That's one way to look at it. The other is if there's been smoke for a decade and there's still no fire, maybe there's no fire. Like it honestly, it could go either way for me at this point. Like I don't know. I do know that I wish people would stop saying
Teasing.
there's things that should be said and not saying them.
Yes.
Stop
So
doing
annoying.
that.
there is financial incentive for it to come out for at least some of these people.
Yeah, the next book.
Like
Yeah, I was
think of the
gonna
book
say,
sales.
somebody's going to write a book.
Yeah.
Write a book. I kind of like that. It's a bit old school because nowadays you'd think it'd be like going on a podcast to talk about, how you hated the ex-dopers who definitely were not anyone that you were riding with.
Right.
But like releasing something in a tell-all book, and it's an actual tell-all book, is quite of a, it's a throwback, and
We haven't-
I'm here for it.
We haven't had a good tell-all book since like Tyler Hamilton
Yeah.
or maybe Floyd Landis.
So I'm here for it. It's just you're saying that there's no smoke without fire. At the moment, this is like that flame underneath the waterfall in Buffalo, New York, that just never goes out because of the gas rising up between the cracks in the rock. Like surely this can't all be for nothing. Surely this isn't like Richard Plugger saying that Mark Madio and the team like a beer to like distract us from something else nefarious going on.
Who knows?
Um,
I give up knowing at this point. I just don't.
The off season's already delivering. I'm not gonna lie.
It's great.
Every October, Guangxi
You-
shatters the season. There's a little doubt in the back of my mind of like, what the hell are we going to talk about until January? But
It always
everyone
delivers.
Steps up every time.
You know what? It's something you just said, Johnny, or something that I guess Luke Rowe probably said that you were passing on. The flicking of dopers bit. I ran across a short video the other day that was explaining how this is done, which I think would be maybe a fun thing to do at some point, either in video form or maybe it's another off-season thing we could do with Ronan, because there are. I think it's one of those things, like, unless you've raced a fair amount, you probably wouldn't really pick up on it watching racing. And it's once you know what it looks like and you know what you're looking for, it can add to the enjoyment of watching bicycle racing because you know what riders are doing to each other. So anyway, I'm going to tease that We'll talk about it later. We don't have time today, but let's
I have
do
an example of this, I think, that I might have talked on the podcast before as well.
Yeah. There's like very specific ways that you can ride in a bunch, and in particular ride in a breakaway, that make life miserable for another specific person in that breakaway. And so, let's shelve that because we got plenty to talk about today. But a little teaser for we'll do a little explainer
November
on
22nd.
on being a dick in the Peloton dynamics. We'll save that one for later. Anyway, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we got a pile of news for you. We've got Del Toro, we've got Pigcock's marshmallows, we've got some good stuff. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I want a quick shout out to a friend of mine, Chris. You know who you are. Gave me a call last night, actually. Said that he has given up reading, and he just listens to this podcast now.
That's a lot to put on us. We have to inform him about everything. Then
I say this fully tongue in cheek. This is he's a very good bike racer and has been following the sport for a long time. And I think that he likes putting our pod on when he goes for a ride.
It's very Michael Scott. I declare bankruptcy coded to say I've given up reading.
That's me paraphrasing. Me paraphrasing. But it was occurred to me this morning that we could play jokes on my friend Chris, and we could just start putting things in this podcast that aren't true,
like what we used to do with you when you're not on the show.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We would say one thing about you that you'd have to then trawl through and find. Okay.
So, are any of the things that we're about to talk about real?
We're like 4 truths, 1 lie sort of thing. You have to figure out which one of these is not real.
People do that with their kids too. Like, I'm telling my kids this was, and then they'll never know that they'll grow up thinking this crazy thing. Yeah.
I told my kid that horses don't exist.
Did you tell your kid that?
Yeah, because I don't want to have to buy one, and so
Briney, you told Briney this.
Yeah. And so they're long-legged prairie cows.
Oh,
you don't have to buy one. You could just go. Do you not have you have that lake that's apparently a beach? Do they not have horses? They ride up and down it or something?
No, we don't. No.
No?
Take your horse to the reservoir and trot around.
You can't. You can't. You can lead it there, but you can't make it drink, Dane.
I think the chances of me having to buy a horse or ever being able to buy a horse are very, very
I must
slim.
be a dad because I thought that was hilarious, Johnny. That horrible dad joke you just made. I love that.
I'm a jet lagged dad joke. Okay. Anyway, apart from Brian's crushed dreams of never owning a horse,
this segment so far has been a little taste of After Dark. If you ever wonder what you're missing, non-After Dark people. Let's get to our actual, maybe true, maybe not.
Talking of four-legged
news items.
Animals. Isaac Del Toro.
Oh, yeah, good Spanish, Johnny.
There you go.
El Torito.
Gracias.
Yes, so Isaac Del Toro, if you will all recall, lost the Giro.
It was a little while ago, so
remember that?
It feels like 50,000 years ago. It was so ridiculous.
Remember him losing the Giro?
He just moved on so quickly from that.
Let's all allow that memory
Simon
and that
Philip
feeling
Yates
to
Chapeau.
wash over you of when he was on the Finestre and Richard Carapaz is like, hey, bro, let's ride bikes so you don't lose the Giro. And Del Toro was like, nah. Mate, we're gonna not do that. That mystery partially solved in an interview with GCN Espanol. Dane, what did he say in this interview?
I don't have it pulled up. You're putting me on the spot here. Hold on, let me.
You can paraphrase for him.
Okay.
Yeah,
it
go on.
basically said that the team didn't tell him anything. He wasn't getting the important information from the car.
Yeah. Specifically, that he either wasn't aware or his team didn't tell him, or whatever, that Wout van Aert was up the road,
Right.
waiting for Yates to tow him across the valley and take the Giro from him.
Which is key information because
it's absolutely vital information.
when
that was
Yates
the entire...
goes, there's still a ways left in the stage. If you're Isaac Del Toro and you don't know that there's a fucking motorbike off the road, you're thinking
you,
to
Dan.
yourself,
Yeah.
Yes.
I can catch him. It's going to be fine.
Yep.
But in reality, he's going to get paced all the way to the finish and he's going to take your jersey from you.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Like a very, very crucial piece of information, which really, really solidifies in my mind the failure, where the failure comes from in that particular incident. Yes, I think that a more experienced GC rider than Del Toro probably does. He probably makes that decision on his own or understands what's happening on his own. But when you've got a 21-year-old in his first time doing this in that scenario, you got to tell him exactly what's happening and exactly what to do. And it sounds like the car didn't do that. Which related to this, Dane, you wrote up a series of quotes that we got from Machin, one of the guys that runs the UAE, that were in Marca, right? Is that right?
Yeah, from Marca. Yeah.
Yeah. This was like one of the most annoyingly like fawning interviews and
Yeah.
write-ups I've ever read. It was basically
was it Campion?
it was literally like the Marca journalist being like, "So, Machin, how are you so incredible?"
You're so good.
And it really, and Machin was basically like, "Well, we are incredible in numerous ways, and let me explain the numerous ways in which we are incredible." And then
Excellent.
proceeded to contradict himself by basically saying that, like, oh, the rest of the peloton is starting to catch up with our methods. And then the very next bit is like, our methods are basically vibe based, and as long as the team is happy, then everything is.
Everyone loves each other.
Everyone loves each other, then everything is good.
Yeah.
Which really, all of this, my point here is that this team is still a complete and utter shit show. And
Well,
if they didn't have all of the money in the whole wide world, they would not win. What was it, 96 bicycle races last year? Something like
95.
that?
95 or 97, depending on when you finish the season.
I'll split the middle and say 96.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the central thesis of my parsing of this story, what I wrote, was basically that it really is all about the vibes, actually, because if the vibes go, then the team is in trouble.
Yeah.
Because right now, you've got this superstar rider who, as we all keep discussing, experienced a deep malaise for about a month or 2 months this year.
we use the word ennui,
Ennui.
here, Dane.
Yeah, sorry. And if that happens again, or if it becomes a longer term problem, then you're left with, some very talented riders, but not the most tactically perfect of managerial teams overseeing everything. So, yeah, I think they need to keep everybody happy, because if people are not happy in this team, things could go bad quickly.
I would agree with that.
I just need to know how Isaac Del Toro has forgiven the Muppets at UAE for costing him a Giro d'Italia.
I mean,
that would
one
that not
assumes
kill you in your soul that like
he's only
they had
21.
they had one job.
He's got to believe he's got more of them to come.
Yeah.
And he's sleeping very soundly on his many millions of dollars. That may be probably helping out as well.
True.
Anyway, it starts to clarify where the failures lie, and the failures lie with the director sportif in the team car at the Giro. For those who are wondering.
Well, we've seen some like snippets of inside the UAE team bus where Pogacar kind of half leads the pre-stage meetings, and he just like points up at the board with the profiles like, "I'm going to attack there," and then that's really all they need to do. So it makes it all very simple. It's just like, Nils Pollitt, get your teeth out and get me to this point, and then we're all hunky dory.
I mean, it is kind of a funny cycling version of what you see in a lot of sports, where like the manager, or if it's a baseball team, or the coach if it's a football
Yeah,
team.
was it Belichick or Brady who was the real
Exactly. And it's like, who's
real
your
genius
big
behind
star?
the
Who
dynasty.
is getting you these wins?
Yeah.
And who's making the money? It's usually the athlete, not the coach. I mean, sometimes the coaches are pretty well paid, but
They're
like,
doing okay, yeah.
but generally speaking, Tom Brady's making a lot of money. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good point.
Should we talk about Tom Pidcock's marshmallows?
Well, before that, I was going to sashay us into Marshmallow Metropolis
Ooh.
via Sam Bennett is apparently going to be one of his teammates at Q36.5 for next year, which is good.
I
I
like
can
that.
see him in that jersey. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Another sort of roll of the dice for Sam Bennett, who's had a fantastic career, but maybe
Rough
it
last
was
couple
a
years.
small case of Dominique Sirius at Decathlon Asia 2 Ireland Mondial, who's also now, in some quotes I saw this week, really trying to force Paul Sextus to go to the Tour de France next year. And Paul Sextus is at 19 years old. I was like, maybe that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
So we'll see that. And then maybe
Just
because
crush French dreams early. Let's do that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Let's just what's the speed run it. Let's
Yep.
speed run the next great French hope.
Yep.
And then maybe related to the Sam Bennett transfer, maybe not. Rory Townsend is apparently going to the Unibet Rockets. So good for him.
Bastitama just followed me on Instagram.
You're
Ooh.
joking?
Yep.
Wow, that is pretty cool.
Because we talked about him on the pod.
Ah.
He sent me a note and said, "Thanks for the shout out on the pod. You got the team story and like vibe and motivation right." That's
Wow.
paraphrasing.
I need to write that article
You
because
need to
I
write
was
that
early to that story. Now things have happened.
They're gonna be folding after
There's gonna be
racing in
they're
5
gonna be-
Tours de
yeah.
France. And Johnny's gonna put those quotes into a story. When I talked to them 20 years ago,
Get there. I will get there.
I offered to set him up with a subscription, a membership. So,
Wow.
ooh,
You know,
Giving them away, are we now?
just give them
Is
away.
that the new business model?
Yeah. Well, if you run a cycling team that might be in the Tour de
Yeah.
France, I'll give you a membership. That
Yeah.
for anybody else out there too, audience. Like
He's
if you're
been-
going to run a team that may be in the Tour de France, you can get it. You can get a membership
He's
too.
been good. I think I need to look back because I used to chat to him in his YouTube days before he was big
Yeah.
time, and it was
Right.
He was just like going around his garden on a tractor digging out cyclocross courses and stuff. Crazy story. Anyway, Q36.5. Tom Pidcock, meanwhile, has been out at this. What is the race called?
Gravel
South
Burn.
Africa Gravel Burn,
Yeah.
which is the new race from the Cape Epic guy, who is called
Yeah.
Kevin Vermark.
Right. Very confusing.
But he's not quite Sweet Kevin because he didn't give Tom Pidcock any marshmallows. There was a YouTube video of like the day's highlights from the race and whatever. And
Wade is there.
Yeah,
Sorry?
Wade Wallace is in
Wade
this
is there,
race.
yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't confirmed if Tom Pidcock and Wade Wallace are sharing the same tent out in the South African wilderness. Will go request for comment from both parties. But Tom Pidcock was extolling the virtues of being in the tent. Presumably he's paid to be at this race, but he's sleeping in a tent rather than like a camper van. And he was saying he's enjoying being around the fire, but that he had to buy his own marshmallows to roast. And he's like, next year, Kevin, I want free marshmallows. I looked it up online. Marshmallows at Woolworths in South Africa cost around 30 rand,
Yeah.
which translates to about £1.32, I think. So that's about $1.70 maybe.
So Tom
Maybe
Pidcock
not.
could literally buy millions of marshmallows.
Would you like? I did the calculation, Kate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, Tom Pidcock's estimated salary is around like £6 million a year, let's say.
Yeah.
30 marshmallows per bag, I would say, is probably accurate.
Yeah. I think that's right.
That 1 month's salary, so just 1 month of the 12, could buy Tom Pidcock 11,363,636 marshmallows. And he's not a big fella. And I don't think there are that many people at this bike. There's quite a few people at this bike race. I've seen lots of
It's huge.
videos
Yeah.
of fellas laid out in deck chairs with Normatechs on, just fields of Normatech
The
The Wade,
dudes
right? I mean,
in fields.
Wade was
I
doing
think
that,
Wade
yeah.
was with the video, but
yeah.
looks very fun. Like they're going,
Except for the weather the first couple days,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Oh, was it
Yeah.
bad? But
it was
and
like
that-
half snowing on them the first.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
There's
it
a
was
warning
bad.
for the final stage because they go through like a bit of a safari park,
Mm.
and it's like Big Five country.
Ooh.
But don't worry because they've got loads of guides there.
Good.
So
No
that'll
one's
be
gonna get
good. But
eaten.
I mean,
You ride by a
crazy.
big cat. It's like it's like your house cat in a laser, right?
yeah, I don't.
They
that
will
scares
chase
me.
you.
Yeah.
They will chase you.
But yeah, a wild event. Wild
Tom Pidcock
storyline.
also allegedly wasn't he the one that asked for a comp
Yes.
Just
GCN
yeah.
membership?
Yeah, Dan
A
Lloyd.
subscription.
Bring Luke Rowe back into it. Luke Rowe
Right.
told the Sky or Ineos boys
Right.
that they could email Lloydie, quote unquote, for a free GCN pass. And this was in the days when it was like £8 a month
Yeah.
or something. For weird how that didn't work out. And he did. He actually did email and get a freebie.
They're so cheap.
If you look after the
Yeah.
pennies, the pounds look after themselves.
Yep.
Would you like to see some footage of? Actually, let's say this for after that because I got footage of
Okay.
Wade calling into one of our meetings while he's out riding at this race.
Excellent. All right, last couple things here. Do we want to talk about Bora? Let's save that for next week. We've had plenty this week.
Yeah, we've got loads of stuff.
Yeah. All right. Should we wrap things up? We don't have.
In After Dark, we've got. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to show you Wade on our Zoom call. Got some. I was on the show on Monday. Some YouTube comments about things you said, Kaylee, with one person also referring to you as Carly.
That's right.
Which is fun.
Carly Fritz.
Yeah.
And yeah, just a couple of other little chit chat, quick little chit chat.
I never check the YouTube comments because they're mean, and I just don't want to engage.
Then they're actually not that bad.
Really? I just
Usually
assume they're
not
mean.
that bad. No, they're not. They're not that bad. Some deranged, but yes.
Well, it's YouTube. So, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
All right.
We've got some good stuff.
Let's head to After Dark. Thank you so much for joining us on today's show. We hope you enjoyed it. If you are not a member, what are you doing? Head to escapecollective.com/join. Your membership supports this podcast. It's the reason why we can do it. It supports the journalism that we do here. There's been a bunch of I've seen the word independent thrown around a lot by various media outlets out
We're
there.
doing this, aren't we?
We have a slightly different definition here. You can define it however you want, I suppose.
No, you can't. You
No, you
can't.
can't.
That's
You
the whole
can't.
problem these
Yeah.
days.
We've got media outlets saying that they're independent just because they're not owned by some giant conglomerate, but then most of their editorial content is bought and paid for. That's not
Yeah.
independent,
No.
my friends. We truly are, right? We are something like 96% of our revenue comes from your memberships. So you need to sign up. escapecollective.com.
I probably don't want to know.
Like T-shirts or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a small amount from elsewhere. You need to sign up. Head to escapecollective.com/join. Not only do you get After Dark, so you get imminently a video of Wade on a Zoom call from a tent, which you cannot miss, to be honest. But you support everything that we do here. You get access to Performance Process. You get access to our member purchase program, which has all kinds of amazing brands in it that you get great deals on. Like literally, you could get a membership at Escape and then go buy a kit from like MAP or somebody, and you've just paid for your entire
Moneyball
membership,
it, Jonah.
and you get access to
some
all
base.
of our stuff for a whole year. Right?
Yeah.
It's the math works. Go ahead to escapecollective.com/join and join us in After Dark.
Maybe in a future After Dark, you could name names of the brands who are doing this.
Oh, what in the member purchase program?
No,
What are you talking about?
the brand, the media brands who are falsely claiming.
Who are falsely claiming that they're independent. There are different definitions of independent, Johnny. You could be like, yeah, I'm not owned by Jeff Bezos. That's some level of independence. It's a spectrum or a scale.
Okay.
This podcast was brought to you by Amazon.
This podcast brought to you by. We could pick the name of a random member here. How about that?
Well, that's good. I mean,
That's
unless they
good.
want to keep their identity hidden, that's good.
First name's only.
I'll
First
pick-
name and then first letter of surname.
I'll pick one that I know. Go, Johnny.
This episode brought to you by the unstoppable Liam Brown.
Oh, unstoppable.
He's the real deal.
Oh, wow. And Dane?
Yeah, this episode also brought to you by Paul Atreides Nuts,
Yes.
who I assume that's not your real name, or else I wouldn't have told the world. But surely that's not your given name. So thanks, Paul Atreides Nuts, for having a great name on Discord.
If that is a double barreling of his parents, that is a Dune-esque meeting of
Amazing. Yeah.
whatever destiny.
I do believe that's not his real name. Also, he is a postman.
Oh,
Wow.
Okay.
That is great. I've never
That's
met
cool.
a postman before.
Yeah, listens to the pod while he is, delivering our mail. Yeah, we
Where
like
did he
him a
deliver
lot.
it? Whereabouts?
I
really
know
dox him.
that- let's not dox him. This podcast also brought to you by Mike Marino.
Yes.
Thanks, Mike. We
frequent
appreciate you.
commenter. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
All right, let's head to After Dark. We'll see you there. Bye-bye.